Welcome to the Update 23.2, where you can now revive your teammates, transport knocked out allies onto vehicles, and engage in a new social feature, the clan system. Let's dive right in. First on the menu is the brand new revival system. To reduce frustration during squad play and promote diverse strategies in normal matches, you will now be able to revive your fallen teammates. Just retrieve the blue chip from their death boxes and register it at one of the transmission towers scattered across the map, or through a wireless transmitter item obtained through farming. They can then rejoin the match via a respawn plane that flies once per phase. Note that this feature is available only in normal and custom matches on Arkangel, Miramar, and Destin. Next, we're introducing a new DBNO feature, allowing you to carry knocked out teammates and place them inside vehicles. This addition provides players with an alternative way to evade danger without having to only abandon or revive your teammates. We are also finally ready to unveil our new clan system. Create or join a clan, play matches, and earn XP to level up your clan. As your clan levels up, you will be able to upgrade your clan tags. Not only that, but you can also earn a BP boost by playing with your clanmates. Definitely worth. And as always, make sure to check out the patch notes for all the details. Update 23.2 has plenty more in store this month, including a DBNO rebalance, general lobby UX UI improvements, a slight buff to the Ace32, and more. Starting with this update, prepare to become your team's hero, transport teammates to safety, and establish your own PUBG Battlegrounds clan for double the excitement. And we'll see you on the Battlegrounds.
The latest game from Krafton and 5min Lab. Fast-paced and full intense PvP action brawler game. Use your best combo to send your opponent to the lobby. Select your legends and be the winner. Pick the mode that suits your fighting style, from 1v1, 2v2 to Battle Royale. Available to download and play free on Play Store, App Store, and Steam. Let's be legends today!
Welcome to the Update 23.2, where you can now revive your teammates, transport knocked out allies onto vehicles, and engage in a new social feature, the clan system. Let's dive right in. First on the menu is the brand new revival system. To reduce frustration during squad play and promote diverse strategies in normal matches, you will now be able to revive your fallen teammates. Just retrieve the blue chip from their death boxes and register it at one of the transmission towers scattered across the map, or through a wireless transmitter item obtained through farming. They can then rejoin the match via a respawn plane that flies once per phase. Note that this feature is available only in normal and custom matches on Arkangel, Miramar, and Destin. Next, we're introducing a new DBNO feature, allowing you to carry knocked out teammates and place them inside vehicles. This addition provides players with an alternative way to evade danger without having to only abandon or revive your teammates. We are also finally ready to unveil our new clan system. Create or join a clan, play matches, and earn XP to level up your clan. As your clan levels up, you will be able to upgrade your clan tags. Not only that, but you can also earn a BP boost by playing with your clanmates. Definitely worth. And as always, make sure to check out the patch notes for all the details. Update 23.2 has plenty more in store this month, including a DBNO rebalance, general lobby UX UI improvements, a slight buff to the Ace 32, and more. Starting with this update, prepare to become your team's hero, transport teammates to safety, and establish your own PUBG Battlegrounds clan for double the excitement. And we'll see you on the Battlegrounds.
The latest game from Krafton and 5 Min Lab. Fast pace and full intense PvP action brawler game. Use your best combo to send your opponent to the lobby. Select your legends and be the winner. Pick the mode that suits your fighting style, from 1v1, 2v2 to Battle Royale. Available to download and play free on Play Store, App Store and Steam. Let's be legends today!
Welcome to the Update 23.2, where you can now revive your teammates, transport knocked out allies onto vehicles, and engage in a new social feature, the clan system. Let's dive right in. First on the menu is the brand new revival system. To reduce frustration during squad play and promote diverse strategies in normal matches, you will now be able to revive your fallen teammates. Just retrieve the blue chip from their death boxes and register it at one of the transmission towers scattered across the map, or through a wireless transmitter item obtained through farming. They can then rejoin the match via a respawn plane that flies once per phase. Note that this feature is available only in normal and custom matches on Arkangel, Miramar, and Destiny. Next, we're introducing a new DBNO feature, allowing you to carry knocked out teammates and place them inside vehicles. This addition provides players with an alternative way to evade danger without having to only abandon or revive your teammates. We are also finally ready to unveil our new clan system. Create or join a clan, play matches, and earn XP to level up your clan. As your clan levels up, you will be able to upgrade your clan tags. Not only that, but you can also earn a BP boost by playing with your clanmates. Definitely worth. And as always, make sure to check out the patch notes for all the details. Update 23.2 has plenty more in store this month, including a DBNO rebalance, general lobby UX UI improvements, a slight buff to the Ace 32, and more. Starting with this update, prepare to become your team's hero, transport teammates to safety, and establish your own PUBG Battlegrounds clan for double the excitement. And we'll see you on the Battlegrounds.
The latest game from Krafton and 5 Min Lab. Fast-paced and full intense PvP action brawler game. Use your best combo to send your opponent to the lobby. Select your legends and be the winner. Pick the mode that suits your fighting style, from 1v1, 2v2 to Battle Royale. Available to download and play free on Play Store, App Store and Steam. Let's be legends today!
Welcome to the Update 23.2, where you can now revive your teammates, transport knocked out allies onto vehicles, and engage in a new social feature, the clan system. Let's dive right in. First on the menu is the brand new revival system. To reduce frustration during squad play and promote diverse strategies in normal matches, you will now be able to revive your fallen teammates. Just retrieve the blue chip from their death boxes and register it at one of the transmission towers scattered across the map, or through a wireless transmitter item obtained through farming. They can then rejoin the match via a respawn plane that flies once per phase. Note that this feature is available only in normal and custom matches on Arkangel, Miramar, and Destin. Next, we're introducing a new DBNO feature, allowing you to carry knocked out teammates and place them inside vehicles. This addition provides players with an alternative way to evade danger without having to only abandon or revive your teammates. We are also finally ready to unveil our new clan system. Create or join a clan, play matches, and earn XP to level up your clan. As your clan levels up, you will be able to upgrade your clan tags. Not only that, but you can also earn a BP boost by playing with your clanmates. Definitely worth. And as always, make sure to check out the patch notes for all the details. Update 23.2 has plenty more in store this month, including a DBNO rebalance, general lobby UX UI improvements, a slight buff to the Ace 32, and more. Starting with this update, prepare to become your team's hero, transport teammates to safety, and establish your own PUBG Battlegrounds clan for double the excitement. And we'll see you on the Battlegrounds.
The latest game from Krafton and 5 Min Lab. Fast-paced and full intense PvP action brawler game. Use your best combo to send your opponent to the lobby. Select your legends and be the winner. Pick the mode that suits your fighting style, from 1v1, 2v2 to Battle Royale. Available to download and play free on Play Store, App Store and Steam. Let's be legends today!
Welcome to the Update 23.2, where you can now revive your teammates, transport knocked out allies onto vehicles, and engage in a new social feature, the clan system.
And ladies and gentlemen, Welcome back to yet another day of exciting PUBG PC action right here in Asia with the PUBG Asia Super Cup. My name is Victor Cax, joining me here is Sir Cloud. Today is day number 2 of the grand finals here, ladies and gentlemen. So the top 16 teams have already been found, they've already been battling it out since yesterday itself. Today we will see a continuation of all those efforts here. So Sir Cloud, you were here yesterday when the grand finals first started off. What was your impression about the competition so far?
Well, I think the stats don't lie. So far, out of 5 chicken dinners, 4 of them were taken either by Thailand or Vietnam. Just shows again how strong these regions are in the world of PUBG.
I know, right? I mean, it's very much a Thai versus a Vietnam affair if you look at just a number of teams involved here. But given that, you know, over the course of the group stage, even the last chance qualifier as well, we also see like the rise of some of these regions like Taiwan, like Indonesia and Japan as well. They're all in the mix here. This is an all-Asian championship here for PUBG Asia Super Cup. All Asian, I say with an asterisk technically, because we don't see like the Chinese nor the Korean teams in here. It's basically everyone else now vying for the top in this region here. So let's go ahead and recap a little bit about how we started and where we are right now. So we started things off on May the 17th there, where we ran 3 days of group stages. All of those have been completed. So all the 24 teams there eventually got split up into 2 brackets. The upper bracket of 8 teams were the ones who directly qualified to the grand final stage. Then you also had 16 teams who had to play a last chance qualifier stage to find another top 8 to join them in the grand finals. So that means 16 teams now are in the running here from the May 24th, and we'll still run this all the way to the end of the week here in Sunday. So it's 5 straight days of PUBG PC action.
And if you're wondering until when the grand final stage will be, it will be until this Sunday. So make sure to mark your calendars. It will be the same time, same channel, wherever you're watching this. So you don't want to miss out all the action, especially as we unfold who will be the champions. And speaking about being champions, of course, it's a long journey for them since last week, as what was mentioned by Victor. We had the group stage whereby 24 teams duke it out. We found our top 8 from the group stage. They moved straight to the grand finals. And from the LCQ stage, we have the other 16 teams playing, and the top 8 from the LCQ stage joined the first set of top 8 teams from the group stage. And now we have found basically our best 16 teams in the PUBG Asia Super Cup 2023 summer, and they'll be duking it out for that number 1 spot. But speaking about the best teams, to a surprise of some of the viewers out there, is that right now at this moment, an LCQ team is actually topping the chart.
I know, right? That's the most interesting thing. It just goes to show that even if you're performing well in this group stage, LCQ stage, you're not necessarily going to be that secure in the grand finals. And it kind of makes sense as well for that team, which the team we're referencing, by the way, is Theerathon FIVE, who are currently on top when it comes to points. And points has certainly been a huge talking point right now in this PUBG Asia Super Cup, because it's the first time we're running under the Super rules. That's the standard universal PUBG Esports rule set, and that means there's been an overhaul in terms of where the points are distributed, as well as the way that these games are played out. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with this, now only the top 8 positions at the end of the maps are the ones that actually give you placement points. And we had a little bit of back and forth about this, about how these teams are adjusting this new format. It seemed at first that teams were going to be deprioritizing the placement points. That was sort of like the thinking we had, but then it seems now more than ever, teams are actually reserving a lot of their big fights towards the end of the map itself, because you know that's where the majority of the points are actually going to be held.
And why they want to collect the points? Obviously, they want to be the champions. And besides just being the champions and having bragging rights, of course, there's going to be money involved. And the total prize pool here, as we can see, whoever wins this tournament will take home 20,000 US dollars, and it just goes all the way down to a minimum of 2,000 US dollars at this stage of the tournament. For the rest of the other teams who were eliminated from the LCQ before this, they took home 1,000 US dollars. So it's a bare minimum of 2,000 US dollars now. But of course, no team wants to go for the bare minimum. Everyone wants to go for that number 1 spot. It's 10x the amount from the bare minimum.
And that also means that even if you're not part like the top 3 of the tournament, you still have money to play for. Just even getting a place above, like from 4th to 5th, already gives you an extra $1,000, and then going from 4th to 3rd, it give you another additional bonus on top of that. So again, it's like it's really going to be a competition for all of these 16 teams now to see how far they will go. So the top 8 teams that actually qualified from the group stage itself was, of course, the Expendables, QConfirm, Daytrade Gaming, Generation Esports, CERBERUS Esports, eArena, Myth, made in Thailand, as well as Arkangel Predator. The other 8 teams you can see at the bottom there were the ones that made it through from the last chance qualifiers. That's going to be New Generation Esports, an outstanding performer during the last chance qualifiers, mind you. Theerathon FIVE, who currently are in the lead of the leaderboard right now for this grand final as of day number 1. Unicorn Venom from Vietnam, E36 from Japan. Then we got One Call from Indonesia, Global Esports Xsset, they are from Taiwan. And also we have Attack All Around and Purple Moon Esports eking it into this grand final as well. So these represent the top 16 for this Asia Cup as of this point.
Yeah, basically all the Thai teams qualified onto the grand finals, and then we got a lot of Vietnamese teams as well, and we got the rest here. But speaking about the teams, so we'll be jumping into the scores later on, but before that, just a reminder again on everyone on how the map sequence is going to be. No changes in terms of the map sequence from before. We're going to play 2 Miramas as a start, and then it's going to be Tego, and then we're going to end the day in the classic Erangel match. And Tego, even as of yesterday, considering the fact that we have played at least before yesterday 5 Tego rounds, it's still a big mess. A big mess in the sense of like you will see a lot of early fights, you will see a lot of roadblocks because teams are just still adjusting to how other teams would react within this map.
And also, given that Tego is only played once per day, it means that some teams will have specific strategies for that map that may put other teams at a disadvantage. That's why I see things have always been kind of a toss-up from round 2 onwards. I think even if you're a team that takes a chicken dinner from the first map of the day, it's not necessarily guaranteed you're going to be able to keep momentum going forward. I think CERBERUS Esports certainly experienced that yesterday. The team that was undoubtedly one of the most consistent out of all of it was definitely Theerathon FIVE. Their comeback towards the end of the day, where they got back-to-back 3rd placings, actually allowed them to build up a substantive lead above Purple Moon Esports. And what's interesting as well, if you look further down, the Expendables, they have yet to get a chicken dinner. The highest finish yesterday was a 4th placement, yet they have more than enough points, kill points, in fact, that allows them to stay in that 3rd spot above everyone else.
Yeah, can you imagine that they are number 3, but their placement points is still a single digit. I'm pretty sure today we're going to see that number change. Well, if it still doesn't change, then, well, I mean, it'll be an interesting talking point at a later part of the show. But 9 placement points and 28 kill points. They are basically now the 2nd highest kill points collector among all the teams. So the Expendables, they're basically doing the Purple Moon of the LCQ.
I guess so, yeah. Purple Moon was also remarkably had a huge ratio of kills versus placement points as well. That was during the last chance qualifier stage. Now it seems like Expendable has some sort of beat in that department, but even when you look at the consistency of performance that Purple Moon's done, they have dropped games in Tego. That I think was a significant contributor to why they weren't able to keep up with Theerathon FIVE towards the end in terms of like their gaps. But nevertheless, this team here deserves a lot of credit because these guys didn't make it through the group stage. They had to fight it out in the last chance qualifier. Apologies for the sound issues now. Looks like we're going to be able to get back and running. And yeah, as you were saying, these guys really worked hard over yesterday's games there to secure themselves the best possible start. I think being on top of the leaderboard is already like that's pretty much like bullseye. I think for them, as far as setting targets go, isn't it?
Oh yeah, but of course they cannot be complacent. We have 20 more games to go, and yes, they do have a little bit of a gap as compared to the second team, a 23-point gap, but it only takes like 2 rounds for them to be caught out. So it's something that they need to always keep in mind. We got 20 more rounds to go, so I expect that to still change. Unless if they can remain the level of consistency like they had yesterday. Like yesterday, they never fall out of the top 5. They were at least minimum 5 and above, and they even rank in a decent amount, actually the most kill points. So they're starting to complain about T5 at this point.
I know, right? And that's the thing that I really want to see throughout this grand final stage here, is I want to see the teams that are able to stay consistent in spite of map changes, stay consistent from day after day. And I think what T5 has secured for them now is like a good buffer, which means that even if they were to drop 1 or 2 games here today, it's not going to be the end of the world for them as far as defending their lead is. In fact, if anything, the lead means that they could still afford to drop 1 game and still stay on top. So, but a team that's certainly going to be looking to try to wrestle that crown away from them is this one right here, Purple Mood Esports. Less consistent compared to T5. Like, while Theerathon FIVE was able to be 5th place, rather had a minimum of 5th place consistently, PLM had dropped all the way down to 12 and 15 in their second Miramar map as well as their Tego map. So they're certainly looking to try to get a good comeback, I hope, hopefully for today itself. But being able to place like 2nd and 4th as well means that these guys are still formidable when things go right for them.
Yeah, and speaking about the other teams, so all the other teams have a gap of less than 5 points. Only T5 and Purple Moon Esports have a 23-point gap. And with a gap of less than 5 points for everyone else, that means even after the first game, there will be a lot of shuffling happening. So with a team like Purple Moon Esports, yes, they're at number 2, but the gap between them and the Expendables, who's currently at number 3, is only 1 point. And that 1 point, it's easy for the Expendables to catch out with them.
You can imagine, it's just if the Expendables can finish higher than Purple Mood consistently round after round, that would already be more than enough to put them up in 2nd place. So that's something that Purple Mood have to watch out, especially on the Miramar and Tego rounds here. That seems to be a bit of their weakness as of right now. But then again, like I said, there's still 20 more games to be played, you know, overall. So there's still plenty of like time for them to to kind of like find that consistency they're looking for. But certainly it still means that these 2nd, 3rd, and even the 4th placing to an extent are going to be extremely competitive, I feel, throughout this grand finals.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be really competitive. And T5, well, if everyone eliminates each other below them, then T5 will be the happiest team. But anyway, now we'll be looking over the stats for the top kill leaders. Fluky right now is the top kill leader among all, and yesterday he was the MVP as well. So I mean, no doubt, it's quite clear why he's the MVP. Not only the highest kills, but also the highest damage dealt as well. So he's not only here to just steal away kills, but he's also here to contribute in terms of damage output to allow his other teammates to take those kills for themselves.
I mean, it's crazy when you look at the stat as well, because Fluky basically has more than 50% of the total amount of kills that his own team has collected so far. So yeah, definitely the star player right now for Purple Mood, and certainly deserving that number 1 spot. You can see conversely that for Theerathon FIVE is a little bit more split up between both Rositet Jr. as well as Hatsawat, but those 2 guys are always on the front lines when any sort of engagement that T5 gets into. So it seems like they really were pulling their weight yesterday, which was what allowed them to accumulate so many points coming in this. But you also have players like Tanvu from the Expendables, who have been just contributing a lot to their kill score line, and that's what allowed the Expendables to essentially still have a seat right now in the top 3. So, you know, we'll continue to try to monitor this kill lead right now, but so far I really like that, you know, these guys are still able to kill like practically what 3 squads worth of like players. That's insane statistic here, you know, especially when you consider that this is the top level Asian tournament here for PUBG PC, having these kind of like outstanding performers right here, you know, being a part of your squad. In fact, like T5 has 2 of them, you know, so that goes to show why they've been so dominant from day 1.
We got to give special mention to Belmont from Daytrade Gaming for having the most kill versus damage ratio Yeah, at the end of the day, it's all about like securing the kills, right? And that's where you get the points. Like you can deal as much damage as you want, but if you can't secure those kills, that won't mean anything. So special mention to Belmont as well, Daytrade Gaming. They were at number 16 for the first like 3 rounds-ish until at some point, I believe they got a second place finish, and then they just went consistent all the way. So it's a good comeback for Daytrade Gaming yesterday.
Yeah, so we're going to be having a look at some of these highlights from yesterday itself. Talk us through a little bit about what the games were like in day one of this grand finals.
Yeah, I think there's what we'll be looking at throughout today, as well, especially for the first 2 games, is whether AAA and CERBERUS Esports will still fight for the center of the map, which is Picado inside of Miramar. And I noticed there's a trend with AAA as well, that they like to drop in the center of the map, irregardless of whether there's another team there. The same thing happened inside of Arkangel as well, whereby they dropped inside of Pachinki and they challenged another team inside Pachinki, and it was a really long standoff. And the standoff would have been longer if the circle is in that area. So I believe that is something that we would like to see today if they're going to continue that.
And it's interesting, they talked about like the fact they contest Picado a lot in both Miramar rounds. Like it seems to indicate that this is AAA's preferred way of maintaining the consistency, because what we saw in the last chance qualifier is that Attack All Around has always been able to maintain a supreme amount of consistency in spite of other teams outperforming them during the last chance qualifier itself. And that's what eventually allowed them to eke into this grand finals. So I think what they will also be looking for, hopefully within this week itself, is to be able to get one really good round where they can get the maximum amount of kills and the maximum amount of placement points. That should surely lift them up into the top 8 very quickly, and perhaps even challenge Purple Mood or T5 for the lead of this championship here. But I do want to see, like, I do like the fact that they remain this consistent, just even from the way they choose their landing spots here, and just being flexible enough. Picado being like literally in the middle of the map means that whichever way that the circle is going to land, it's always going to be like a path they can draw from Picado to get there.
Yeah, no doubt. Being in the center of the map gives you more flexibility on how you want to play the game. But dropping at the sides are not too bad as well, because dropping at the sides, my regular theory is that if you drop at the side, you only need to worry about like half of the angles. Because if you drop at the side, basically the other half is like an unplayable land, so you don't need to worry about whatever that's happening behind. So that could be an advantage as well, depending on how you look at it. So I guess it really depends on your team strategy. Like, how do you like to play the game? Are you like the type of team that likes to play a little bit safer, or you want to play a little bit more aggressive? Then you might want to drop in the middle and have more options for yourself.
And also, like, let's say if the circle lands on top of you right in the middle, that means all the other teams are coming towards you. And when you look at AAA scoreline as well, you can see that every single round they're at least still able to get 1 kill, which means they're still taking engagements. They're not really just sitting in Picado and just not doing anything at all. They're still watching out for other teams going around. They're also still being proactive at finding engagements to actually work out for them. Contrast that with some teams where they can, like Myth, for example, in Taiko, they managed to place 10th, but got 0 kills out of the engagement, so it's still 0 points at the end of the day. So at least having the 1 or 2 kill points, even if you don't place in the top 8, can be really crucial for a team that is looking for that consistency.
Yep, whatever that you do, you always try to trade your kills in a fight. In case you lose it, well, at least you go with like the few points that, like what you mentioned, because we've seen it time and time again, that there are some teams who end the round without a single point. And naturally, without any point at all, of course, all the other teams will pull away from you, and you get further and further away from the top. So as long as you have those few points, that's okay, because you still have the next round to kind of recuperate those points, and at least you feel good that you might not drop that far as compared to the other teams.
Yeah, I just feel that teams will have to just from this new super rule set itself already knew that these teams will have to adjust to how they want to try to farm these kind of points, either from placement or by kills. And I think that teams that are finding it hard to stay to be consistently in the final phase there may still benefit by just finding an extra kill point or two, while there's still plenty of other people on the map anyway. So that's what. So that's going to be what we're going to be looking out for today itself. I mean, it's still the second day. I think like another thing that these teams are going to have to get adjusted to is that because group stage itself, a bit of a toss-up. We had 3 different splits of teams, so it was hard basically to figure out like a consistent rhythm or pacing for every single match, because the next day it will always be slightly different one way or another. Different teams have different drop zones, different paths, etc. Now that we're literally looking at all these 16 teams, so it's going to be kind of like the last chance qualifier, where I feel that teams after a while will be able to settle into a specific rhythm on how they play. They already have their preferred kind of landing spots and stuff, and I think that's where things will start to open up. I think from like day 4, day 5 onwards, where teams that notice or at least observe these kind of patterns from other teams will start to use that information against those teams there, and that's where things I feel will get a bit exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, unless if maybe like the number 1 team and number 2 team, or number 3, depending on how close the points are, start to see that, hey, if we don't do something to that number 1 team, he'll just go all the way to become champions. Then maybe we'll start to see like hot drops onto the number 1 team, just challenging them, taking the risk, because at the end of the day, if they are unchallenged, then some teams can just go all the way to be champions. So might as well just go for it and have the nothing to lose mindset and give us the entertainment.
I know, and again, you don't want T5 to run away with like the huge lead for the rest of the tournament here. At some point, they must be challenged for that spot, and I expect that T5 is also fully aware that they have a huge target painted on their back right now. So today it's going to be a very serious test for this squad here. They haven't been that outstanding when it came to the group stages. They have shown a lot of promise, especially from the last chance qualifier. So now today, this is where like all of whatever they've learned over those past 5 days of tournaments, that's going to be applied here in this grand finals.
You know what? I have this theory that if you are the number 1 team early, for example, like now T5, number 1, looking solid, never drop from the top 5 every round, you'll be targeted at this point because they don't want your gap to be significant. So that means today, possibly, we might see some challenges on the T5.
No, I mean, if they can identify them on the battlefield, that's even better. So like, if they realize that who they're fighting against is T5, that will kind of be extra motivation for them actually to take that fight, because they know that even in the worst case scenario, like even if you lose your spot on that squad, rather your spot on the map, by like incurring damage to T5 themselves, that will significantly reduce your chances, of like making out during the final phase itself. So that gives like extra pressure for them, I think, if those fights don't go their way. So I think all these teams now, otherwise, they're mostly focused on their individual performances here. I mean, I think there's a lot of data they've collected over from the group stage until now that can certainly see where are the weaknesses they have under this new rule set here. And this is all going to be a part of the process, throughout this group stage, where they will constantly still adjust, constantly adapt to whatever new sort of like patterns or strategies these teams will be applying. But nevertheless, less about theory crafting. Now it's for the practical here, because we're going to be jumping into our first match of day number 2.
Okay, let's take a moment to enjoy the scenery, enjoy the cinematics, because this is thanks to our observing team who has been working hard behind the scenes of providing us the best footage possible. So shout out to our observing team. They've been amazing. They've been working really hard. Even like on the days where we didn't have matches, they were here rehearsing to give us the best footage possible.
And it's like, I'm stoked. I mean, these guys are super chill and also fun to hang out with as well. It's like every time after a cast, I always go down to the observing room just to hang out with those dudes, because it seems like a bunch of fun, it's always fun to be around them.
Oh, fun fact as well. So out of our observing team, 2 of them are ex-pros. So they know what they're looking at. Yeah.
We're back. So now also still watching outside the window here, trying to spot other members of CES, or rather trying to listen for them right now, because they really are in a bit of a tight spot here. Across the building is going to be where Haisaki is currently set up in. We got Taikon set up on the exact other side of the fight here. Oh, this is a little bit of a highlight actually from Jankuo's jump off the roof there to get the shotgun kill onto Solo Z. But nevertheless, they're still very much stuck in place here. CS has already lost 2 members, so this is a hot drop. Didn't quite work out the way they planned, I expect.
Well, AAA will be liking this circle. The fact that they started off inside of Picado, and so far they're looking good there by taking those 2 kills out of CERBERUS Esports. So if they do win the fight entirely, I mean, they'll be basically mayors of Picado.
I wonder, has T5 also been favoring the northern side of these maps a lot? Because I tend to notice that from them, even from the last chance qualifiers. Like, no matter what kind of map, or rather, I think, especially on the Miramar, they always prefer to take the northern side somehow, and that always gets them in encounters with One Call, encounters with Exo Clan back in the group stage in LCQ. And right now, Attack All Around still very much stuck in this fight here, but I think for the most part, they've secured this position here. It's really up to Cerberus to figure out how they want to peel out of this, I think.
Yeah, and plus it doesn't help that they're split out. So if Taikon were to exit, yes, he can exit on the left, but maybe it's unsafe for him. If he exits down south, then yeah, that might be a little bit better. But that means that he will be splitting out from his teammate, and if they split out, at this point, at this timing, there's a possibility that would bump into another team, and we can see the rotations actually happening here. Like NGE is just on the northern side of Picado, meaning that there's a risk if they are alone on foot. If they get knocked down, there's no way his other teammate can save him.
Yeah, in fact, like Genius Esports is already set up on the hill just north of Picado itself, so they perhaps will have a good view over the fight that's happening here between Cerberus as well as AAA. And Haisaki, in the meantime, doesn't really have any place he can fall back to. It seems like they still want to try to get a kill point or 2 away from kill point off of AAA here, but nevertheless, Haisaki doesn't have a lot of utilities in his pack even. No frag grenades, no smoke grenades. So even trying to pull out of Picado is still going to be extremely hard for him.
Yeah, no smokes. At least if we have the smoke, then maybe. Oh, but this is not helping. So Surti is on this high ground, overlooking Picado, meaning that if Haisaki exits through the left side of Picado, it will be food for Surti instead.
Yeah, exactly. Belmont from Daytrade already putting some fire into Simoy just off camera there, so seems like One Call decision to kind of split themselves up a bit might be putting a bit of a slight disadvantage here in this engagement versus Daytrade and UV, who's taken control over the high ground near the power grid. So in the meantime, one of their members, Jexi, actually landed all the way up north in Oasis for some reason. So it seems like they're going to be fighting basically one hand tied behind their back, I think, should they want to continue this engagement. Q confirms Pet Dread. I think he just spotted one of the members of, I think that's the Expendables, Delwyn, who's just wandered into the power, was it a power grid there? Like one of the factories here. Seems to be all by his lonesome though right now, although Attack All Around, they're now making a move into the casino here, looking to try to flush out Taikon, I think.
Oh, yeah, they're trying to find a target though, but Taikon's on the other building, so he's still quite a distance away from the rest of AAA, but I guess looking at AAA's movement, they're doing the SWAT team right now. They just want to clear out every building around within Picado, so they want to take entire control for it. And I can totally understand why, because Picado is now the exact center of the circle, meaning that if you can get control of Picado entirely, that would last them a few rounds.
Possibly, yeah. As we said, the Unicorn Venom's NBK was overlooking One Call's like a village just now. They were under fire from Daytrade, who is actually down south of where Unicorn Venom is currently positioned at. So One Call is actually sandwiched between those squads there. So not exactly the most secure position, but nevertheless they will still huddle themselves inside the buildings in order to stay alive. Though Trick is already moving on to the outside. Hopefully maybe spot Daytrade should they decide to make a rotation. So at least they have that insurance for themselves. We're still 3 minutes into phase 1 right now. Attack All Around just going around, I think just mostly farming inside the casino here just to make sure that they get exactly the type of loot they're looking for, and just depriving Taikon or Haisaki, wherever they are, of any kind of loot within that casino area. Taikon, in the meantime, decided to take it to the high ground here as looks like Genius Esports putting some fire and actually found Haisaki and takes him out of the map.
Oh, there was a sneaky peek there by Certi, and now CERBERUS Esports down to the last man. The team that opens up the grand finals with a chicken dinner is now suffering with only one player left, and it's going to be hard with only one player at this stage of the game. If that one player, Tycoon, can pull off a chicken dinner all alone, he should be granted the MVP regardless.
I mean, just for having a really tough fight, I suppose. But then again, Cerberus kind of were asking for this, dropping on Picado, knowing that like AAA has been very consistent and coming to this spot here round of round. Maybe there was power to consideration. They really wanted to take this spot against AAA here in order to make up for what has been a great start yesterday, no doubt, with the first Miramar round, but certainly one that left them wanting a lot more, especially given that they bowed out quite early in the second round of Miramar. So in the meantime, other teams are already starting to come into the circle, even though the blue zone isn't quite in a threatening position yet. We already have T5 insights from the north, eArena already moved in from the southwest, and then you got Myth coming in from the east, AAP, Arkangel Predator is coming in from the west now. So the only person that's still left outside of this next stage zone here is Jexy, but he's only just now come out from Oasis, so he will be on the way now to link up with the rest of his squad. We'll have to push through quite a number of squads actually before he can get regroup with his teammates, so that's going to be a bit of a challenge for him, I expect. Purple Mood, meantime, they've also taken control over the hillside close to where Genius Esports is, although they're a lot closer to San Martin, which should provide them like a good base should the circle end up coming more northwards for them. But they're also keeping an eye out for others around. And speaking of keeping an eye out, Global Esports Xsset, I think, just spotted another team just across from their own complex.
Yes, there you go. But but Daytrade Gaming is the one that pulls the trigger. So let's see if we can get inside. Inside is going to pass by Puchius and turns around. Puchius continues shooting, but because his vehicle is a UAZ, so his vehicle has a good cover, so he couldn't land those shots. But Puchiu counter fire upon, immediately retreats back.
Yeah, that was a bit of damage done to him as well. But eArena basically is trying to take control over Chumacera right now. This is way east of where Chumacera is, which is where Daytrade decided to go and set up camp in. Though granted, they are split up though, because like we've got another two members of Daytrade still up north, closer to UV and One Call. Wouldn't be able to support the Puchis here, especially with eArena continuing to keep pressure onto Norins, who's all the way behind there and actually out in the open. So inside actually gives him the bypass though. Looks like he's actually trying to find a path towards Los Leones maybe. But then again, maybe just trying to wrap around here to secure the high ground just to the west of where Daytrade is, and hopefully be able to keep them under pressure.
Hopefully he has enough insight to land himself somewhere safe. And now look at the circle. It's time for the circle to move. We should still have Picado, yes. Although the circle hard shifted to the left, but we still have Picado in it, meaning that AAA will still be the kings of Picado for now. Now that also means that all those teams on the right side, everyone needs to move.
Yeah, that's going to put them into a collision course right now. NG is under fire from Gex as well as the Expendables, because they are right now the gatekeepers of the western side. And this circle also worked out well for Purple Mood, because they will immediately put them in position now to take control of Power Grid, which is what they're doing right now. Daytrade seems like they want to try to regroup. It's going to put them under the line of fire here from eArena. Zixi is trying to cut them off a little bit, but maybe a little bit slow to the take here, because Daytrade seems to be able to slip by KM99 without suffering a knockdown quite yet, and should be able to link up the other two members of Daytrade who are right now set up near Picado.
Yeah, I think Picado might be an interesting stopping point, or maybe not. Okay, maybe not, because Picado, the next circle shift, if it's not within Picado, if it moves away from Picado, there's a possibility that it might move away from Picado. So I don't think other teams will be interested to go inside of Picado for now. Instead, they might want to take the high grounds instead of around maybe Chumacera, might be one of the interesting parts, or the northern side. Power Grid's high ground is still a good spot to be at too. But there's a team moving from the left, and that is T5 moving across Monte Nuevo into the circle.
Yeah, it looks like they're going from the north to actually wrap around to the western side there. So that should actually face a lot less resistance, mainly because like other teams are already taking control over the high ground in this circle now. We got PLM on the north, GE in the mountain just adjacent to them. We got AAP as well taking control of a high point themselves just across the road from where PLM is. So T5 are now just looking to try to take control of some complexes in that main road, and that actually might put them in a good position to ambush E36. Enter Force has just entered Monte Nuevo, so they might be under pressure from T5 if they can set themselves up in the complex quickly enough.
Yeah, so I guess so far they have a good amount of options, but there are some teams who already parked themselves at certain strategic high grounds, and that's where they get to see the rotations. From what we see on screen right now, Arkangel Predator saw the rotation of T5, and now they know that T5 is just right below them.
Yeah.
And because of their current position, they can sort of like stop gate T5 from coming up the compound.
Yeah, so T5 right now have to split themselves up into the 2-2 formation here along the main road. E36 should be able to give them the slip if they run along the edge of the circle here. T5 was also under fire for one call, though that seemed to have drawn the attention of eArena. But right now, E36 wanders straight into the gun sights of AAP right now, trying to force them away from their mountain, it looks like. And E36 seems to be getting the hint somewhat. They're falling back into a more safer position behind the dunes. But that's going to certainly put them in a tight spot, though, because it's still right on the edge of the circle here. The blue zone is already closed around Monte Nuevo now. So if anything, AAP is just keeping E36 under immense pressure here.
Oh, Purplewood Esports, Tanawat has the high ground now, and together with a supply crate, so that's a good lucky spot for him. And on top of that, just below him is there's another team, GE, and he can overlook their rotation. But let's see if that's going to be important now that circle will shift and Picado is no longer the focal point. Even teams on the high ground or power grid will need to come down, and it's going to be an even open fight for most of these teams.
But for AAP, it's still perfect for them. They don't really have to move that much. They can still potentially gatekeep E36 and T5 right now. But fights already breaking out between Gex as well as PMA. Both of them are fighting right now over control in the southern side, or rather just outside of the circle here. We also got QConfirm still in the blue zone, still continuing to farm inside Los Leones here. Arkangel Predator under pressure from Starlord, E36. Starlord trying to get across.
Here we go.
The jump there. This Dukes of Hazzard style, but didn't quite work out well. Algebra was still able to get a headshot, though Evo Patrick was around the corner there to snipe him down to prevent any more damage from that point on. But E36 pretty much has secured this complex here. Arkangel Predator is under pressure now.
Yeah, Arkangel Predator looks like they want to take back this compound and they want to save their teammate at the same time. We can see that Alec has arrived just beside of this compound where E36 is in. At this point, they're crashing in as a team, and now they're going to go for it.
Yeah, XK1 is the last person standing from E36. Hakai will get dropped down as part of the NGE's fight against Gex right now. So that's also breaking out on the western side, while in the meantime on the eastern side, that was on the east. Now on the western side, T5 is also getting in on the action with E36 there. Alec getting taken down. Deva there should be able to lead him, but he still needs to find the last member. E36 XK has just been knocked down, but then they already had the revive come out onto Starlord. Sophia just now. He's still hanging on by a thread there, but Alec seems to have spotted him. True the door, he comes around, tries to betray, but no, through the smoke, he cannot spot him at all.
Ah, the smoke. Oh, beautiful counter by Sylvia. It was only like one tick of health left, and Sylvia counterfire onto Alec, and Alec was taken down now for Evo Patrick. We saw him clutch it up before inside of Miramar. He'll try to do it again.
Oh boy, Triple A has decided to go for a hot drop using the E pickup onto EA, so that's going to be interesting to see. But for now,
to the left.
Still trying to clear things up. Evo Patrick finds XK1 by the side there, finishes Sylvia as well, so that will be E36 taken out in 16th place. But now the fight still continues on. Daytrade Gaming also getting a hit onto UV. They were coming in from the actually, the Daytrade was still within the circle that time, but then it seems like UV attempted to try to jump on top of them with the E pickup. We already got Silhi coming down here. Probably going to get knocked down by Jackal if he can just nail down the spray, but Silhi is still there, having half health right now, taking lots of damage. One more shot, he's going to be knocked down like that.
Ah, he got it. Silhi can't react to that because when you're in the parachute, you can't shoot back. All you can do is just pray and hope that the shots do not land. But unfortunately, his prayer is not answered, and he's been taken out by his opponent. Attack all around, defended the area. Speaking about defending areas now, the circle will move, and this time it moves towards the right side, and this will be an advantage for like 5 teams within the circle, including Tycoon from CERBERUS Esports. He's still alive, but because he's the only last man standing, he will evade all fights, any and every team that's currently still in the map.
Patrick decided to pull away to get to the next safe zone, and that's going to be a reprieve right now for Purple Mood because he can proceed to the next circle without too much resistance. Hopefully, though, they still may have to encounter triple A on the way there, and in fact, their path seems to be gearing towards that direction anyway, with the gunfights coming out. And Zest has just been taken out by one trick, which spots him just trying to get across the road there to regroup with his teammates, so that's a little bit unfortunate for them. Wildcard still having a good position there. Even Patrick finds a shack in the middle of the open ground, gets taken out by Daytrade, who was set up in the complex up by the hills, so that was a little bit unfortunate for him there.
Salute to the hero, Evil Patrick. It's actually the second time that he clutched out another team after his other teammates were taken out. But now T5 is going to crash in onto GE. They want to take this compound. GE is obviously on the outside. That's not that blue. Gets taken out by Yuri, but now T5 is in the vicinity trying to find a target.
Yeah, there's only one member for them to try to take out inside there. Surti does get a grenade kill against a grenade knockdown onto Rosset Jr., so that's put a bit of a wrench in the works, but it still will try to clean up house here. Surti is in the house just across there together with Clory, so they just can only watch on a little bit helplessly as the rest of T5 just storms onto the building there. They still have Utah inside and still alive right now, but only just. He's basically locked up inside the house right now. The Theerathon FIVE is trying to flush him out with the Molotov on both sides of the windows. That's forcing him now to get towards the stairwell. Pantabo is going to use this opportunity to try to get around, but Theerathon FIVE still waiting, or rather still have to get the revive back up onto their teammates here. So they're kind of in a tight spot. GE still able to handle this fight. Now we got Clory's coming across the road now to get through the window.
Wait,
oh
what?
Boy.
The smoke!
Barely protecting them. Now they have a Molotov already set on the staircase, so I don't think we're going to get in. Surti tries to come to the window, gets killed off as well, and Generation Esports has been eliminated.
Oh wow, okay, that was insane. I mean, that smoke bought enough time for T5 to recover and counterfire onto their opponent. That was really, really lucky, I must say.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think they were a little bit desperate there to try to take control over that building because, again, if they didn't win that fight, T5 would easily have gatekept both Surti and Clory's from getting into this next safe zone. So I think either way, their hand was really forced in that situation there. So I think it's just unfortunate that they couldn't get enough knockdowns to go there and just couldn't see through the smoke, I guess. QConfirm as well is moving up from the south side. That's going to put them in a collision course right now with Purple Mood. Lyric's just watching as those cars get over the cliff, but it seems like QConfirm is able to recover now and just headed towards Purple Mood's side, who are still under fire from EA during this time though, because EA is already within the safe zone of the circle. This really is a fight right now to get to this next circle here, and it looks like QConfirm might be a bit held up.
Yeah, lucky for QConfirm when they went down the cliff, they have enough cover not to be shot by Purple Mood Esports. If not, it's going to be hard. But anyway, now Purple Mood Esports needs to go into the circle. Same goes for QConfirm, same goes for AAA. And what's stopping them from getting into the circle is the road. And we've talked about this many, many times, that the road is such an open area. And if you want to get across, well, one is you got to pray with a vehicle. Second, create a smoke bridge.
Yeah, Purple Mood is now moving, trying to burst right through between EA as well as AAA. A lot of knockdowns there. Fluky is already down, and I think Zixi is trying his very best to finish him off as well, but it looks like he will be taken out by the other members of QConfirm there. They're just literally just clearing up, mopping up the rest of PLM there, so that's already down to just one member now. But not for long, though. The grenade will come through from Opons to take out Borbot, and that would be Purple Mood out in 10th place.
Just as when Barbos was about to reset himself, immediately got eliminated by the nade from QConfirm, and now QConfirm has 7 kills to their name. Looks like they're looking to come back this round.
Well, UV is under pressure though, because T5 still having the full stack is taking this fight against them in the northern part, and this is going to be a fight to see who will be making it onto the next phase here, it looks like, because Bell is seems to be the only one standing here under a lot of pressure from the frag grenades coming in, and he will not be able to stand up to that at all. Now T5 is also taking a couple of knocks of their own, now just using the frag grenades to try to finish off that last member there, but they still need to watch out with J-Can, who's already moved down southwards to take control over the border of the circle now, so T5 is not quite out of the woods yet.
Oh yeah, T5 as well as Unicorn Venom these two teams will definitely need to fight. But let's not forget as well, Daytrade Gaming is just behind JKen.
Yup.
JKen putting too much focus onto T5.
Yeah, they already fired.
Backstab. Yeah, that's it. And there you go.
Yeah,
but wait a second, it's Rosita that took out JKen.
You killed JKen, but then Daytrade is also moving out of the complex now to head off T5, who's coming into the circle just about now. Hasawat still has a frag grenade. He's going to use that last one there to send it towards Daytrade to hopefully open up a front now to take this fight against them. They still have to deal with the fact that Daytrade has a complex to fall back into, which they are doing right now. That's how they're keeping themselves secure in this circle here. So there's 3 complexes. 3 of them are being held by one call, Daytrade, as well as eArena. You still have AAA stuck on the crossroads down by south. GEX as well, stuck on the western side, just now being engaged upon by eArena. Xsset has just spotted them. Tries to get a shot, but it still gets knocked down though. Now frag grenade is going to be coming up from Lyric's side to try to force GEX out of that position there and hopefully into the line of fire.
Oh, here we go. eArena, can they defend this area? Because their opponent's not going to make it easy for them. And so there's a Lyric being shot from behind, and Lyric gunned down by UpChen.
Oh man, as soon as I saw him running back, I knew that GX would be able to catch him at some point, and the problem is he was right out in the open, so no cover for him to get to. Now eArena under threat here from GX, but then a shot coming around from Tasawat's side actually takes out Yuri, and that's what actually finished off GX.
Here we go. eArena managed to defend that area. There was a good defense there from eArena, but now their second problem is to get into the circle, but we'll leave that for later. As Daytrade Gaming going up against T5, Daytrade Gaming also on the outside of the circle, T5, the entire squad on the outside as well, and this is a fight that they cannot evade.
Nope, they will have to take them either way if they want to take control over the north. They can still disregard one call on the other side because they're a little bit tied up trying to watch out from teams moving up from the south side. That's specifically AAA right now, who's still having the ditch as control right now.
Juice?
Rossetet tries to get a drop there, but didn't quite work out. Unfortunately, a frag grenade by Belmont was already knocked down. Panta Bomb, Hasawa has also been taken out. T5 is starting to lose too many men right now, and Daytrade is still left standing here, so this is looking like a bad engagement here for T5. Can they actually find the drops they're looking for? Daytrade now moving up now to try to head off Tanadol, but unfortunately a knockdown onto Bell move. Norins is actually forcing Daytrade to dig in a little bit more into this complex, which is going to allow Rossetet to move up, but unfortunately, there's not a lot of cover between them. Oh,
beautiful long range shot there by ZZ. And now with that knock, he can actually secure that kill, but it's not secured yet. That's why he's tossing out those nades. ZZ be counterfire upon, immediately pushed back. And now ZZ, having his teammates coming in, inside is going to come in from the outside of the circle to secure those kills.
Whoa, right in the middle of that, Rossetet had the right idea, but unfortunately 2 members of Daytrade was still up trying to get a revive, so that's a bit unfortunate. Now Tanadol is going to try to make an entry as well. This time he has a frag grenade ready, although I don't know whether he'll be able to nail all of Daytrade Gaming inside this close quarters anyway. Door's going to open up, he does get a drop of the Tanadol there, so like the Flash will eliminate T5 here, so leaves only these 4 teams now. One call, Daytrade, AAA, as well as eArena. And Insight right now had to link up together with Xsset. Unfortunately, AAA has taken control of their complex, so they had to move out of position anyway. But now they are in the middle of no man's land here. Xsset may have to head off towards AAA's direction, and that is not a very comfortable sight to see.
Oh, not at all. Inside, he was in the circle previously, and he took a risk to go out, but AAA is there to finish him off from an off angle. Insight took that risk, but that risk didn't pay off, unfortunately.
Yeah, eArena out now, so it looks like it's going to be down to these 3 teams here. Neither has the full stack. One call number one, one call at AAA, as well as Daytrade are still 3 men available. Flash has just been knocked down arena outside, while AAA tries to move in onto their position here around the west side of the circle. So this is looking like a tough fight now for AAA because they don't really, for Daytrade, because they don't really have a good spot here to try to put some fire into Talround, and Talround still has a bunch of grenades. They're going to be using it now to try to keep them suppressed, but Daytrade will just lose Flash just like that as Jedi takes the shot, and then now One Call is looking to try to get in on this action too.
Well, AAA, the Kings of Picado, is currently at 10 kills, and they still have opportunity to get more, with One Call still active together with Daytrade Gaming. Now the circle does shift a little bit on the right side, but for One Call, they are on the clear. No one's on the left to challenge them.
Yeah, that's the thing. So they are just waiting to see how this fight between Daytrade as well as AAA is going to work out here. But chances are Daytrade might be under a lot of pressure here, but they still have plenty of these dudes to play around with and still have some frag grenades to use too. That's a nice shot there into Norris, so that's already taking him out of the equation completely. Belmov is the last one standing, only has a QBZ here to use. Not exactly the best in range. He does have an SLR he probably would try to use against Attack all around, but again, with the frag grenades coming in from one call side as well, it looks like Daytrade Gaming's days might just be done.
Oh yeah, Daytrade Gaming might be done. Same goes for AAA. If they can't take over the era where their opponent, one call is at. Right now, AAA is winning this fight against Daytrade Gaming. Belmont is still on the outside of the circle. He's been pressured by two teams. There's no way he's going to get out of this, and finally been taken out by Jaxi.
Yeah, now but one call has already done very well to move and take control over the rest of this circle here, while AAA was still stuck on the western side. So now they have to turn around here and see Moy coming out, but then to get a good ping off of the build, off of the car there, knocking down. 2 knockdowns already for Equilucia. Now he's trying to find a third, Jaxi, who still has a stun grenade in hand, tries to send it around to Equilucia, just temporarily stunning him there, but they still will get the shot there in the end, and Attack All Around gets their first chicken dinner of the grand finals.
Oh yeah, Attack All Around, hailing from Thailand. So we got 3 teams from the Thai region now netting chicken dinners, and all of them are different teams. And for Attack All Around to get this chicken dinner from winning the Picado fight against CERBERUS Esports, they are sending a statement basically to CERBERUS Esports that do not challenge us inside of Picado.
And what an upward trajectory this is now for Attack All Around, because they finished yesterday in 11th place, had the highest finish of 2nd, but it was only towards the end of the day. So now we're having taken the chicken dinner here. Hopefully this is going to be a sign of things to come here from this team, who again have been so consistent in the way they played Miramar. Like, everyone I think at this point knows that Picado is pretty much their like go-to spot, and CERBERUS tried to challenge them for that. Didn't quite work out well for them though, surprisingly. And AAA still managed to come back into this fight here. It was still mostly a Daytrade versus T5 affair, to be fair, during this final phase. But again, AAA took all the opportunities they had handed to them and just used it very, very well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. AAA, they are definitely on point. Despite them having to deal with Daytrade Gaming, but they're still able to get this chicken dinner. Despite one call just waiting for them, but it was still a moment. But this is, speaking about moments, this is another one. So while I think this is the first, or maybe the very, very few of like a team takes the emergency pickup, goes down and gets taken out. So that's one of the very few moments.
Yeah, another, we didn't see this on camera as well, but I think AAA did the same thing against eArena at 1.2, while they were still in Picado. They used the E-pickup to reposition themselves to the flank of eArena, try to drop on top of them. And that unfortunately wasn't enough to finish them off there. So again, they still had to be bogged down in this fight against eArena for the rest of that circle there. Then T5, they tried to make an approach from first they were approaching from the north, then decided to move off to the west, but eventually running into Daytrade there was certainly not something they were wanted in that case there. But nevertheless, Attack All Around, Equilucia especially, the 2 knockdowns there was pretty much what opened up the fight here against one call, and pretty much was game over from that point once Chibrit was knocked down.
Yep, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, the highlights from round number 1. And I think the trend is still pretty much the same, like from yesterday, whereby the starting of the round, we would see only one team fighting for one compound or one city. That's it. And everything else will be left for like phase 3 to 4, and that's where we'll see a lot of fights happening everywhere in the map.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a good start for the day here for AAA. Again, a team that didn't get a chicken dinner yesterday, came very close during the 5th round yesterday. So now they've already gotten their first chicken dinner. That's hopefully going to put them up in the top 8. But again, they still need to play another round of Miramar here. Are they still going to try to drop on Picado one more time, where they will still risk getting another hot drop like they did against CERBERUS? Although they did handle that fight quite well, which to their credit was the best they could hope for. But then again, with that pattern still being consistent for them here, I wonder, are they going to start to change up the game plan a little bit now that other teams start to figure it out? Or are they still going to stick like stubbornly onto that one little town?
I have a feeling that CERBERUS Esports will move away from Picado now, because the win rate for Picado does favor AAA. And for CERBERUS Esports to take that risk again, knowing that the statistics does show that AAA is better inside Picado, I think we'll see the next round that Cerberus Esports will move away.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it might be incumbent on another team actually to try to jump onto AAA. But you know, when you have juicier targets like PLM or T5 to hot drop, maybe they want to go for those teams instead. Who knows? But then again, that's already the first round of Miramar. We're going to be going for another round of Miramar. No breaks in between this. But then we're going to be giving you guys the update now on the full results of that first map. So let's go ahead and have a look right about now to see who comes out fully on top. Of course, Attack All Around having 14 kill points is certainly going to be a leader here. But one called Daytrade actually not too far away from each other, 11 and 10 points respectively here. Global Esports Xsset also a 1 point behind Daytrade here. So other than the fact that Attack All Around basically hoarded the majority of the kill points here, I would say the other teams had a bit of progression too.
Yeah, the gap is not that far on page number 2 as well. We got a good number of 1s, 0s, and 3s. But one thing that still remains is for, let's see, the Expendables still without a play. Okay, without getting this placement point, meaning that their overall placement points collected as of now is still only 9, still a single digit.
And haven't really been able to make much progress there. So Theerathon FIVE, though, in spite of the fact they lost the fight against I think it was Daytrade as well, so they still managed to recover with like 8 points here, which still keeps them competitive with both eArena and QConfirm. Let's go ahead and have a look at how this tallies now with the overall results here. How far up will Attack All Around upgrade themselves to? Wow, second place, just like that. One chicken dinner and like 14 kills is enough to overtake Global Esports Xsset. Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, here's the thing about PUBG's format, right? It's like, what I learned, don't look at ranks. Just look at the total points and that's it. Focus on that. Because it can easily swap, like, Attack All Around, they were like somewhere in page 2, middle of page 2 perhaps. And with that one game, one chicken dinner immediately shoots up to a number 2 spot. But what interests me is that the gap between T5 and at least the second place, right now the gap is 21 points. Before this was 23. So a little bit of a